So we're going to move on to this is a fun little segment.
Okay, great.
So I'm going to be doing.
About time.
I'm going to be doing. It's actually my fifth. It's my fifth largest holding. I thought.
Okay.
I think at the time when I was doing the last one, my last one was also my fifth largest holding. But then
what
I
did
said
you do last time?
Palantir.
Palantir was your fifth largest. Now this is your fifth largest.
Now this is my fifth largest. I think it's...
because Palantir went down so much.
Well, let's not talk about that.
That's funny.
So we're going to be doing Shopify.
Okay.
And you know me, Nathan. I like to start with a little founder story. So
Yes.
this one's good. I actually went back to the old Guy Raz.
Oh, yeah. He did the interview, right?
Yeah, so I was actually
with
listening to
Toby.
it on the way here.
Yeah.
So it was good stuff. So yeah, Toby Lutke is the founder, and he's a German guy.
What's his last name?
Lutke?
Oh, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Lutke, palahepatitis. Little inside joke about Chamath.
I'm pretty sure Chamath doesn't have an S on the end of his name.
All right, well, you pronounce his last name.
No, it's Palahapitiya.
Palahepatitis, yep, I knew that.
But I've definitely been saying how you just said it every other time.
Yeah, well, I've been listening to you.
Exactly. And as everyone else. So probably everyone's calling him that now.
Probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, he
sorry.
back to the little founder
Back to what you were
story.
saying.
So Tobias Lutke, Toby,
Toby,
Toby L, we can say.
As we call him.
He good old Toby L. So he met his Canadian wife on a ski trip on a ski field in Canada.
Okay. Where do you meet his other wives?
Well, because I said Canadian wife.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's his only wife.
Okay.
And as far as I know,
Okay.
I don't know him personally.
Is he Canadian?
He is German.
Oh, you said that, didn't you?
Yeah, so he's
sorry.
German, and he met his Canadian wife on the ski field.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting. They actually ended up keeping in touch. She finished her bachelor's degree, moved to Germany,
Yep.
and stayed with him for 10 months.
Wow.
Then she was like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to Canada, and I'm going to do my master's degree.
Okay.
Do you want to come with me?
Okay.
And so he was just like, yep.
Sure.
Yeah. So he actually worked for a German company called Siemens.
Perfect. Nothing strange about that name.
Nothing strange about that name at all. And so he was like, I don't know, 19, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And he was quickly finding that like he wasn't really into the corporate life. But his team was very... So he was solving software problems all day.
Yep.
And he was finding that the flow of the software problems and the uniqueness of all of the issues were really making him engaged. Oh, okay. So he was able to really get something out of that.
Okay.
And he also found that his boss and like his team, they didn't wear they worked in the basement. They didn't wear suits. They were very loose,
a bit casual.
Despite company policy, which said you had to wear a suit and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he really liked that.
He fit in with that.
Yeah, so he liked that.
Okay.
And he was also diagnosed with ADD. So he's like that kind of personality where he doesn't really want to follow the rules.
Okay.
So yeah, he was over in a ski on a ski trip on a holiday, and then she moved to Germany. He ended up moving to Canada. Yeah. Living in her parents' house. And
they both moved back to Canada.
They both moved back to Canada.
In her parents' house.
Yeah, in her parents' house. Okay. And
gotcha.
And so he was in the process of getting his permanent residency.
That's a funny thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah. And so they were talking about how it's like, oh yeah, this is a bit weird. And then he was just like, yeah, like I couldn't live with anyone else's parents, but these people were like really good to live with.
Canadians are very polite.
Yeah. And so he was saying that it was like a really...
Germans aren't notoriously polite.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. So,
not that I like Germans though.
Yeah, well, you got to be straightforward. You're a very straightforward.
Right. I like that about Germans.
You're very straightforward.
You know what they think.
You definitely know what they're thinking. So yeah, he was in the process of getting his permanent residency, and he wasn't able to get a job. Yeah. But he was able to start a business. Okay. So he could either...
That's a strange loophole.
Yeah. So he could either work for a German company remotely, right? Which is what he'd done before. Yeah. And they were open to doing remote, all that kind of thing. Okay. Which in 2002-ish
very progressive.
Is very progressive for them. And it was literally, I think he said that he'd done remote before, but it was all it was too hard because there was only email. Like there's no Slack, there's no Microsoft Teams. No. It's literally just emails, no video calls, that kind of thing.
That's right.
So yeah, it's a lot of trust as well.
Yep.
But yeah, he said he didn't really like working remotely for someone else's business, and he wasn't able to get a job. But his lawyer said, "Hey, but you can start another business. You can start a business if you want to." Okay. So that's what he decided to do.
Awesome.
So he got really into snowboarding.
Yes.
Really liked the
Yes.
So instead of like skiing, I'm going to try just snowboarding for this whole trip that I'm doing here. And yeah, ended up getting really into snowboarding.
Right.
So in 2004, he launched.
Have you ever snowboarded?
I haven't ever snowboarded.
Have you ever skied?
I have skied, yeah.
Okay.
What
Would
about
you
you?
Try snowboarding?
Yeah, I'd love to give it a go.
I have both skied and snowboarded.
What did you like more?
I think I like skiing, but I don't really like either.
Yeah, fair enough. You don't have to like being in the snow. Like, you know, it's certain people really, really love it.
Yes.
So like you can tell if you don't really like it, then it's like, okay, well just don't pay all the money to go.
Yes. A lot of money for something that I don't like doing that much.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not really worth it for you then.
No, it's not.
So he started an online snowboard store called Snow Devil.
Snow Devil.
So so he later realized, so like a little bit into it, he realized that the software was actually worth a lot more than the snowboarding brand. Oh. So he realized that he could actually create a piece of software to help e-commerce sales.
Yeah.
And then he could go and like consult with people and talk about his software and say, hey, let me build you a website, basically, which allows you to put your products up there, and I'll get you more sales because people are online now.
Yes, because at this point, everyone's just in-store sales.
Yeah, and this is 2004.
2004,
yeah,
maybe eBay, something.
Yeah, and most people are just on in-store sales. Yep. So based on that, like from that springboarded him into launching the proper Shopify product, which launched in 2006. Okay. And he's been the official CEO, because I think it's been like an official proper company since 2008. So so that's when he kind of...
That's a while.
That's when he kind of came into the
13 years.
Yeah, so I guess it took him from 2004 to 2006 to develop the product, and then obviously proper incorporated all that kind of thing in 2008. That's when he got the title CEO.
Yes.
So the headquarters is based in Ottawa. Yep. And which is where he moved to with his. I
think is that the capital of Canada? Everyone thinks it's Vancouver, but it's not.
I thought it was Toronto, but I have no idea.
I'll look it up.
You look it up.
I've been to an embassy there to get
Ottawa, Ontario. Is there a capital of each? What's it called?
Ottawa is the capital of Canada.
There you go.
Yeah, so I had to go there and get my working visa for the US.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people do that. A lot of international people in the US have to jump out to Canada or Mexico to get the visa. Yeah. So he really wanted his a lot of his like purpose was for merchants to get a direct relationship with their customers. Yeah. And the reason that he kept it, because like his whole dream with going to Canada was to go to the US, because the US was like that's like, that's where all the tech stuff happens. Yeah. Then he realized, his quote is, he thought that Canada is the America for Europeans. Oh, okay. So a little bit, a little bit more, less brash, more dignified.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's his whole.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's his whole thing.
That's true.
So so there's a couple of little quotes that I've thrown in here from him.
Great.
So here's the first one. It's I have a weird obsession with optimizing things. When I was walking to elementary school, I used to count the number of steps on each route and work out which one was shortest. So that was when he was a kid.
That's cool.
Then later on, it goes to, if I have to do something once, that's fine. If I have to do it twice, then I'm kind of annoyed. Yeah. If I have to do it 3 times, I'm going to try and automate it. Yeah. So that's a really good philosophy for how he runs his businesses.
That's great.
So Toby's ownership of Shopify, his current net worth is now $13.3 billion USD. Wow. And 11.5 of that is his 6% stake in his own company. So which he's also the largest holder of anyone in. So pretty good.
I know.
Yeah. So it's it's a pretty cool like platform.
Yeah,
and
it's
a
great.
lot of people. It's an interesting one because a lot of people that don't know business or don't know tech probably wouldn't have heard of it. Like a lot of people don't actually really know what.
Yep.
It's not the same as Microsoft, which has a big following.
Yeah, it's not a household name.
It's very understated. You know.
I agree.
So it's literally merchants that have looked for solutions to build websites on. You know.
Because like pretty easily you can take the branding off and it just looks like your own website.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it's definitely that kind of vibe. Yeah. So it's got 7,000 employees as of the end of 2020.
Okay.
So it's fairly lightweight for its size, I think. Yeah. It's business. All right, we're going to go into the kind of timeline of the business, when they introduced everything. So it's like it follows on from the founder story into what they launched.
Incredible.
So 2008 was their original product.
Yep.
So this is the simple online stores for a subscription model.
Yep.
This now has 1.7 million businesses on that platform.
Wow, 1.7 million.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that was 2008. 2009, Shopify launched its App Store.
Okay.
So this is a simple API for developers to build their own functional Shopify apps.
Yep.
So the App Store is a full marketplace for merchants to buy apps from.
Yep.
And developers to upload apps to.
Yep.
So Shopify launched this with a 20% fee on all app purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So they made 20% every time a merchant purchased
That's
a
not
developer.
as much as Apple. Apple like 30%, right?
Yeah, 30%.
Yeah, okay.
So that was their original fee.
Yeah.
Now, because Shopify is very much, I think it's a very good company in terms of supporting the little guy.
Yes.
So it's obviously it's got that anti-Amazon mindset.
Yeah.
You know, "Arm the rebels" is the kind of little bit of a catchphrase that goes with it.
Yeah, right.
So it's. I mean, I don't think that's an official thing at all. But it's like it's kind of what people say about Shopify.
Okay. Do they?
So the Shopify app actually, it was 20% on all app purchases. Yep. Now the Shopify App Store, as of the 29th of June 2021, they've decided to remove fees for the first 1 million in revenue for developers.
Oh, that's cool.
So all developers will now make 100% of everything they make under $1 million.
Yes.
Then they'll make 15% over $1 million. So they've cut from
Shopify,
20.
Okay, they take 15%. Over
so they've cut from 20% to 15% of everything over $1 million.
Yes.
So not only did they cut out all of the revenue they were making for the first $1 million, they've now dropped 5%.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
I think that's a really good mentality. I think it'll encourage more people to develop on Shopify as well.
I agree.
Like I think it could be. So they've currently got 7,000 developers on Shopify apps.
Yes.
So 7,000 products have been launched in the App Store, and I think that it'll it's like, okay, if we cut all of our fees and that kind of thing, someone who was making a Chrome extension or an Apple app or anything like that now can say, actually, I'm going to pivot this and put it on a Shopify, make an API for Shopify, and then they might get 14,000 next year. It could be it could be a real pivoting point.
That's awesome.
In 2013, they launched their point of sale system.
Ah, yes.
So this is pretty cool. Okay. I didn't actually know they had a point of sale.
I have seen this on the website, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, okay. So in-store sales, this is in 2013, in-store sales increased an average of 30% year over year using a Shopify POS.
Oh, wow.
So
POS being point of sale.
Point of sale, yeah. So it's been refreshed in 2020 with an all-new black iPad system.
Oh, cool.
But the higher growth is partially due to the integration between the online and the in-store. Yeah. So it allows you to order online, pick up in-store, as well as ordering in-store, have it sent home.
Yep. Okay.
As well as that, it gives more insights. It gives a smart grid interface. Yeah. It gives easy inventory management.
Oh, wow, really?
And that's across all of the sales channels. Yeah. And it's basically its own version of like Square.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're doing there.
That's the thing, isn't it? Coming to that point, like they're definitely their biggest competitor.
Yeah, for sure. So 2013, they also launched Shopify Payments. Okay. So this means that merchants could directly accept Visa, MasterCard, and American Express instead of plugging in a third-party gateway. So that's what they used to have to do.
Oh, what year was that?
2013.
Okay.
So it's surprisingly recent.
Which they use Stripe, right?
Well, no, it's Shopify Payments.
It's their own thing.
Yeah, it's called Shopify Payments. Okay. So essentially, this means that
I thought they used Stripe.
It's essentially their own version of Stripe.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. That's sick.
And so Shopify merchants on the payments, on their regular plan, make so they pay 2.9% plus 30 cents of every purchase. That's on their starter plan.
Yep.
And then on their unlimited plan, they pay 2.2% plus 30 cents.
Yep.
And the advantage here is that those rates are guaranteed. So there's no additional merchant fees for using American Express.
Oh, yeah.
Like there would be normally
Yes.
if you set up an American Express, then it's like, actually we take an extra 2% on top of that fee, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So it's all just covered by Shopify. They just pay for whatever, and they just charge you 2.9 or 2.2.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, that's really cool. 2014, they launched Shopify Plus.
Okay, what's that?
So this is actually considered their enterprise solution.
Oh.
So that's what that's the way that they market it.
Okay.
So they've currently got Nestle. They've got I've included a bunch of brands here that you may or may not have heard of. I included a lot of the ones that I have heard of or have kind of looked up and seen. Okay, I know what that is now.
Yes.
So, and there's also 10,000 of them.
Oh.
But they've got Nestle Kylie, which is by Kylie Jenner.
Okay, yeah.
Gymshark, JB Hi-Fi, Jenny Craig, Culture Kings, Honey Birdette, Allbirds, Staples, 2 Chainz, the rapper, has his store on Shopify Plus, Magnolia Market, Muscle Nation, Death Wish Coffee, and there's 10,000 other large brands.
I've heard of some of them.
So
JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah, JB Hi-Fi. Pretty funny.
Okay.
So 22% of Shopify's subscription revenue came specifically from the monthly recurring revenue subscription to Shopify Plus.
25% of their total revenue.
22, yeah.
22, okay.
So it doesn't actually have a specific actual price though.
Yeah.
So it just says 2,000 plus as is the bucket.
Because it's tailored towards the individual company.
Yeah, and it's also such a large scale. It has to run on such a large scale that it has to work for those people.
Yes.
So it's actually it's like also like you get assigned a relationship manager and all that kind of thing. There's 10,000
10,000 of these clients.
Of these Shopify Plus clients.
Yeah.
And then that's
so. Does Shopify Plus just mean that they tailor it more specifically towards the client's needs?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I
so
think
they work more with them personally to make it work. Yeah,
I think you get your own. Yeah, you get your own like manager of it.
Yeah, because Shopify itself, obviously, like Isaac and I, we've used a little bit, and it's beautiful and it's really easy to use, but it's not super flexible.
Yeah,
unless you know how to code it yourself, it's definitely restrictive in regards to what you can do. And so I assume for a big brand like,
they would
Kylie
help them
Jenner
build it themselves.
or JB Hi-Fi, they get to actually have a say in regards to how it's built. So
there'd also be a bit of a deal in terms of you're not going to pay 2.2% of every sale plus 30 cents. It's like when you're bringing in, you're saying, hey, I'm Kylie Jenner and I have a $2 billion makeup brand. Yeah. Like I'm going to be making, $100,000 in sales every day. Yeah. I'm not going to pay you $2,000
makes a big difference
in those sales,
No, exactly right.
So it's like, it's going to be, they're going to say, oh, okay, well, we're going to do 0.5% or something like that. Like they're going to make an individual deal with that client. Yes. They're going to have a manager of it. Yep. They're going to say, are you happy with your deal? Yep. They're going to say, I'll get you these 5 software devs that are just going to work on your site. Yes. That kind of thing,
Exactly right.
So like,
cool.
make sure it's all up and running all the time as well. Stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I think the whole idea of Shopify Plus as well, they have a little bit of a section which said something basically along the lines of, let us be your tech company. Don't start a tech company when you want to have your e-commerce brand running.
Yeah.
We're your tech company. Yep. Where you're on call, tech support. So
that's cool.
That's kind of
that's really sick.
Yeah. So and it makes a lot of sense too because like
it does make a lot of sense.
You don't want to hire your own full service staff.
No.
When you can have a way cheaper option to use that Shopify Plus.
Yes.
So 2015. So that was in 2014. They launched
2014. Yep.
2015. They launched multi-channel Shopify, which means customers could use Facebook Shop, Pinterest, and Amazon as well as others.
Since 2015.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they that's when they launched the multi-channel solution. That's kind of what they've called it.
Yep.
2015. They also launched Shopify Shipping.
Oh.
Which is merchants can now buy and print discounted shipping labels directly with the Shopify platform.
Yes.
And it's integrated with the USPS, which is US Postal Service.
Yes.
That was useful for the 175,000 merchants at the time.
Yep.
Merchants would receive rates of up to 60% off retail sales.
That's great.
So that's obviously very US based.
Yes.
I don't there's a little bit of Shopify shipping from what we've seen so far. There's
yeah. Well, we use Sendle here.
But yeah, I think that what it's saying is that's what it plugs into. That's kind of how that works. Also, 175,000. Now they're at 1.7 million. They've 10x since 2015, which is really cool in terms of customers.
Yep.
Now this one's really cool. 2016 they launched Shopify Capital.
Okay.
So Shopify uses machine learning to remove barriers to entrepreneurship. That's what they've titled the kind of the point of what they're doing there.
Yeah. So
Shopify has loaned $2 billion in funding to entrepreneurs over the last, it's been 5 years now, so it was 2016.
Square do that too.
Yeah, so I was definitely thinking that is a Square thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, thing. Because I was actually thinking as I was started this segment, I was like, it would be cool if they did something like Square, they loaned money
because they know all the details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they already do that. So there you go.
I didn't know that.
They're a step ahead.
That's cool.
So the maximum loan size previously was $1 million. And as of April 2021, they've increased it to $2 million to further boost growth.
Yep.
Shopify Capital made $363 million in Q2 revenue.
Whoa.
So just in Q2.
Yep.
Which means it's about $1 billion a year or over $1 billion a year just from Shopify Capital in revenue, which is up 137% since last.
How do they make that
Q2.
money? Just from interest.
Yeah, just interest, I guess.
Wow.
So, I don't know the exact business model of it, but
that's the assumption.
Yeah, so Shopify Capital made up 32% of the revenue for this quarter through 32%? The merchant. Yeah, so it's merchant.
Whoa.
Merchant cash advantages. Merchant cash advances and loans.
Yeah.
So 32%, pretty cool.
That's huge.
So something they launched in 2016 is now a third of their a third of their revenue, which is cool.
Wow.
So 2017 was Shopify's platform expansion.
Okay.
So they expanded to eBay and Instagram.
Ah, yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Okay. Yep.
2017 also Shopify launches ShopPay, which is it's like a purple icon.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this one appears to be an alternative to Apple Pay or Stripe. And this one is something that saves and encrypts customers' card details and makes payments seamless and frictionless.
I guess it's kind of emulating the whole one-click payment things on Amazon.
Yeah.
You're just like, I want this, pay, done.
And it remembers your details and everything like that. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good.
So that one is also, it's like Apple Pay and Stripe, right?
Yeah.
But it's also like Afterpay.
Okay.
So it allows customers to make purchases and spread them out over a longer period of time.
Oh, really?
So that's something I didn't know about it.
Wow.
So that feature of spreading out payments and was added later.
Yeah.
So it wasn't added in 2017, but has been added recently. And it's by a partnership with a company called Affirm. Okay. So that was 2017.
2017, yeah.
And the next thing that happened was 2018. Shopify goes international.
Okay.
So this is when Shopify launched multilingual options in the store. They launched 6 languages.
Wow.
I won't tell you what they are, but
don't tell me.
They allowed for international commerce solutions.
Like Australian.
Foreign, like foreign. Well, I believe that they were only operating in the US, UK, and like Canada and Australia, like English-speaking countries.
Yeah. Okay.
So pretty cool that they're
that's awesome.
Went international.
Makes sense.
And 2019, they launched the Shopify Fulfillment Network.
Okay.
So in 2019, the company pledged to spend over $1 billion over the next 5 years to expand fulfillment capabilities.
Right.
So they've got their own fulfillment network, which is cool. So I didn't know that either.
No, neither.
So they're planning to get 2-day shipping to 99% of Americans.
Whoa.
So
that's so sick.
They're planning to beat Amazon, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Amazon can do like 40-minute shipping, but
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, not here.
It's like 11 days here.
Yeah.
It's like 11 days in a capital city.
I ordered some stuff like a long time ago.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting on it. It's a pandemic. So, so they're keen to get the 2-day shipping to the 99% of Americans.
Right.
In a comment since then, Thomas Epting, who is the director of Shopify Fulfillment, said that COVID-19 has pushed e-commerce forward by 10 years. So,
wow.
That's
probably right.
Yeah, that's his opinion on that.
Okay.
2020, platform expansion. So they integrate with Walmart, Facebook shops, and I know that they already had Facebook, but further with like Facebook shops. I think what that means is Instagram stores. So yeah, I mean, because Instagram is a brand of Facebook, obviously.
Yes.
Integrates with TikTok and Alipay as well. Okay. So there you go.
That's really cool.
So that's Shopify.
Alipay.
Yeah, Alipay. Yeah, it's an interesting.
That's good.
I think China are actually quite ahead in terms of payments. Like they pay with a QR code, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool.
That's awesome.
So onto their kind of that was their like kind of timeline. Onto their products.
Yeah.
And the product revenue. So merchants, they've got basically the way that they break it down is in two ways.
Yeah.
Merchants and subscription products.
Okay.
So I couldn't get an exact split on how much more they make from merchants.
Yeah.
But merchants is literally the split of that fee that they take. So that 2% fee on each.
Oh, it's a separate. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the 2% fee on each purchase, and that appears to be 70% of their of their revenue.
Yeah. Okay.
And roughly 70%. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's expected because if they're charging, say, $30-$40 a month, people are going to be surely they're going to be making more from the 2%.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes
and they
sense.
want people to do well, so they'll charge them a low subscription.
Yep.
And make more off the off that kind of spread.
That's right. Everyone wins.
And so their subscription products, their basic subscription is $29 a month.
Yep.
Shopify is what this next one is called.
This is USD, right?
Yeah, US. Shopify is what the next one is called.
Okay.
And that one is $79 a month.
Wow, jumps up. Okay.
Advanced, Shopify Advanced is $299 a month.
Whoa.
And Shopify Plus is 10,000 customers, 2,000 plus.
2,000 plus, yep.
So the onto the competitive environment, they make.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
We just waited just to clarify what happened there.
Okay.
We waited for me to calculate it. I calculated it clearly wrong, and then decided not to say the number.
What's the number to tell us?
No. I refuse to do public maths.
You can't do it under pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it was something that I meant to prepare earlier, but I just obviously didn't. So that was my own downfall.
Yes.
But they have a really strong competitive market position.
Okay. Yes, so, I agree with that.
Yes. So they're on their own graph, on their own source. So I don't know exactly, but it's according to eMarketer is the official source, but in their own investor presentation, they have 8.6% of US retail e-commerce sales.
Oh wow!
In 2020,
that's crazy.
So Amazon has 39%.
Yeah, right.
They've got 8.6.
That's good.
Walmart is the third at 5.8%.
Yeah.
eBay is 4.9%.
Yeah.
And Apple is 3.5%.
Yeah.
And then it goes Home Depot at 2.1%, and just a bunch of lower Target, Kroger, Costco, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
8.6%. So they're second in place of
that's very impressive.
Behind Amazon at 39%.
Yes.
But obviously breathing down Amazon's neck.
Yes.
At the massive growth rate they're doing.
Yes.
It's pretty impressive. So onto that actual growth rate.
Onto it.
We'll get there, So they're so they've got 7,000 apps on their app store, which each of those is basically a business who has a developer who has gone and made something.
Yeah, they're solving a problem.
And is probably making a couple of $1 million off people who
potentially.
Potentially. Well, I mean, the fact that they cut all of the revenue for, under $1 million means that
there's
probably
obviously enough they're making the money,
Yeah, so some of them are making a couple of $1 million, and they're encouraging the other ones to make more.
Yes, that's fair.
By giving them a bigger split.
Yep.
So, so according to the breakdown in the results, 61% of their revenue comes from the core product, which is their standard beginner package. Sorry, 61% of their subscription revenue comes from
the first $29 one.
Yeah, it comes from their standard and beginner packages. For Shopify's monthly recurring revenue model.
What percent? 60 something percent.
Yeah, 60%, but that's of the subscription of the subscription part.
Yeah, I gotcha.
22% comes from Shopify Plus monthly recurring revenue.
Okay.
And 17% comes from apps, themes, domains, and Shopify Plus platform fee revenue.
Yeah.
So that's the subscription part of it.
Yep.
Their quarter 2 revenue was 1.1 billion, which is up 57%.
Whoa.
So
it's awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
And so their total yearly TTM, which is trailing 12 month.
Yep.
So that's quarter 3 2020, quarter 4 2020, and then quarter 1, quarter 2. Yeah. Just for a little explanation.
No, that's good. I like that.
So their total TTM revenue is 3.8 billion.
Okay.
Which is an earnings of 2.45 billion. So they're looking at a margin of 63%.
Wow.
Which is pretty astonishing. Makes me want to buy more because it's
that's good. I mean, to a certain
impressive.
extent, it makes sense. Their costs are personnel and I suppose a huge portion is advertising, marketing.
Yeah.
But how much marketing do they need to do? Like they're I don't know. Obviously some, but like they're doing well.
Well, so we'll compare that with last year.
Mm-hmm.
Where so this is the equivalent period.
Yep.
So July 2018 to June 2019.
Yep.
So compared with that, they had a loss of 77 million. So a loss of 77 million to a profit of 2.45 billion.
Whoa.
Is an incredible achievement.
Wow.
So yeah, massive difference.
That's sick.
Valuation. So their current price is $1,545 a share.
Oh wow, they need to do a split.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they're too hard to buy. They're not very,
It looks expensive to those who aren't valuing it properly.
Yeah, for sure. So it makes their market cap 190 billion.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive for little old Shopify.
Yeah.
And that makes the current price to earnings ratio 76. So they're growing earnings at 82% per annum for the last 5 years.
Okay.
Compare that with Square, which has a PE ratio of 216.
Whoa.
It doesn't seem as ridiculous. So 76 is
217
Shopify.
For the same ratio?
Yeah, so
and their growth is nowhere near
Square
Shopify.
has a 216 PE, but they have earnings at 74% PA for the last 5 years.
Yeah, right.
So
and that's just their crypto holdings.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So you would know you were a big Square shareholder.
Not anymore.
I've compared.
I also used to own Shopify.
There you go.
Don't anymore.
Maybe you need to again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this convinces you.
Not $1,000.
Yeah, well, 1,500.
Yeah.
And it's USD. So I've also gone and compared Apple, which has a PE of 28.
Okay.
And that's growing earnings at 9.6% per annum for 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you think about, once again, Shopify's was 76.
Yes.
And they're growing at 82%.
Yep.
Versus Apple at 28 and they're growing at 9.6%.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad of a valuation.
Yes.
Consider, it's a tech company. Yes, it would look crazy if this is 2010, and it's got a PE ratio of 76. You're like, what's going on there?
Yes.
But stuff wasn't growing at 80%.
But can they sustain that growth?
Yeah, it's a good question. But also it's like, at some point, it catches up. Where is the point where it catches up to your ideal valuation?
Yeah.
And where is the point where it comes down to, where it's like, okay, I've still made a massive profit.
Yeah.
Share price has fallen 50%. I'm still way up.
No, that's true.
So it's like not a huge issue. And what's the point where I start making dividends, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you're a long term, really long term holder.
Okay.
I was going to talk about the Udi guy, Dave. What's his name?
Who?
Udi. Udi.
Oh, Udi man.
Yeah. Udi man.
He made his millions on Shopify, didn't he?
Yeah. So I think he started in 2020 at some time.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
It is pretty new. Yeah, it could be 2020.
Literally designed a blanket crossed with a hoodie.
Yeah,
and
it's
called
what it
an
really
hoodie.
what it is.
It's a poncho.
It is a poncho crossed with what a lot of surfers use when they're getting changed to the beach.
True.
Crossed with a hoodie, crossed with a blanket. It makes a lot of sense. It is actually a really good idea. Isaac doesn't like it because he's jealous.
That's true. I wish I was making that much on Shopify.
But I'm like objective enough to understand.
Yeah,
that it's
you're the level-headed one.
I'm not emotional.
I wouldn't have brought it up if I didn't like it. Like I do appreciate how clever he is, but it is annoying.
Okay.
What do you mean? You can't say it's not annoying. No, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
No, he's pretty cool. So he also has he's got the calming blankets. So they're just weighted blankets. But he's branded it as
calming. What
calming.
makes them calming?
Well, he's branded it as calming.
Yeah.
And he wants it to be like how Band-Aid is synonymous with bandage.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's designed it in a way, because calming blanket isn't a real word.
No.
That's a brand.
Yes.
So he wants people to look up calming blanket.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, pretty clever. Like
it is actually really clever.
The fact that, because I didn't know that calming blanket was a brand.
I didn't know calming blanket was a thing.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people will hear, oh, what have you got? Oh, a calming blanket.
A calming blanket.
That's cool.
It sounds like a type of product,
yes,
but it's actually a brand.
Yeah, sure.
That's good.
And then they go home, Google calming blanket. They don't Google weighted blanket.
No.
Yeah, so that's his whole plan there.
Okay, right.
So it's pretty clever. He's also got a furniture store and a couple of other random projects.
Other stuff with other people, yeah.
But yeah, pretty inspirational stuff. So
it's good, yeah.
You can get pretty far. There's also that annoying kid on YouTube, Bizaria or something, diarrhea. So he makes a lot of Shopify
he does.
content.
He does.
You'll find
in America, though, it's a whole new world.
You'll find 50,000 different gurus.
The special thing about the Oodie guy is that he's Australian.
Yeah. That's what made it cool. Yeah,
that's what makes it really special. Because there's probably 1 million of that guy in America.
Yeah,
but to do that in Australia is quite impressive.
Yeah, and to make that much, yeah. So I think he made 250 million in the last year.
Yeah. Geez, that seems like a lot.
I think it is. I think it's literally that. I don't know.
That's crazy.
We'll correct the figure.
We might not.
Actually, give us a comment on Apple Podcast. Send us an Instagram DM and make sure to dislike the YouTube video if the number is wrong.
Yes, just react in some way.
Yeah, react in some way. No, I like to keep a perfect ratio on the YouTube likes to dislikes, 100%, please. So make sure you like it, and then comment your distaste. So competitors, what does Square do better? Point of sale payments.
They do point of sale very well.
So that's definitely something that, I mean, maybe I'm biased in terms of I haven't got data to back it up, but I'm definitely biased in terms of Australia.
Yeah,
they definitely do point of sale better because I've never seen a Shopify branded thing.
No.
Also, Shopify wouldn't want to brand their own point of sale system.
Yeah,
because they're very under the radar as well.
Yeah,
so that's a huge drawback of having a very secretive kind of brand.
Yeah.
At the same time, Square doesn't have a lot of branding. It's also very under the radar in terms of...
No, Square also have the hardware.
Yeah.
You know that's like a Square tap thing.
But Shopify's thing is a hardware piece as well. Yeah, that's why it's...
Okay.
Yeah, because I've never seen one, but
either.
I assume it's bigger in the US.
Yeah.
So yeah...
Square have great invoicing.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that anywhere on Shopify.
True. So Square have additional services, so they're kind of like a neobank in that way.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a huge advantage.
Yeah.
So obviously they're getting Afterpay.
Yeah.
They got Cash App.
Yeah.
So they have a full range of integrated banking services.
Yeah, that's right. Which
Shopify are just something for merchants.
Yes.
So in a way, Shopify is too niche.
Yeah.
So an area of expansion would obviously be adding full like banking services, that kind of thing.
True.
But also it's like, okay, now what are they doing? Are they spreading too far? Will they invest money in the wrong places to try and make that expansion happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also logistics could be...
If on Square, if I use Cash App, then like I'm just thinking like if I'm a consumer and I use Cash App and you're own a store and you also use Square Terminal, Square point of sale, everything, and I buy something from you using Cash App, blah, 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 we're just all using the same ecosystem, which is Square, and we're just moving money around in Square's ecosystem. Like money never goes away from Square's ecosystem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
like,
good. Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't matter who has the money.
Yeah.
It's just all within the ecosystem that is Square.
Yeah, and that's why there's heaps of articles that are literally like, a Commonwealth Bank should be scared. This bank Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, they should be scared because Square is like a full solutions provider.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So one thing that's really cool about Square. So what we should talk about, I think, is
let's do it.
The average spend per consumer. Mm-hmm. So that's a really important metric. Mm-hmm. So they've obviously got Square's got 203 million users or whatever.
Yeah. If
they can take their spend, if they've got an average spend of $50 with Square per year, right? Yeah. Well, we were talking about it with Afterpay before, right? Yeah. Their average, what's Afterpay? Yeah. So average monetized annual revenue is $43 per consumer. They've got 16.2 million users, right? Mm-hmm. If they can add $1 to that user by getting them to shop at a Square terminal or giving them a discount at a Square thing or getting them to use Cash App, that kind of thing. Yeah. If they can add $1, $2, $3, they're suddenly making $45 instead of $43 on 16 million people. Yeah. So they're increasing their average spend per consumer. Yes. So that's one thing that Square's doing really well with its integrations. Yeah. So if obviously Shopify isn't a bank, so they don't have the ability, and they don't have their own Cash App, that kind of thing.
No, that's right. They don't have much on the consumer side of it.
But if they had that crossover, it could potentially lead to more, everything that a business wants is more money per consumer. Yeah. Like, that's a huge thing, as well as you don't only want to grow the number of consumers, you want to grow per unit spend. Yeah. We were talking about that as well with Palantir last week. Yeah. Their average customer went from 6 million to 8 million. Yeah. So, it's pretty cool. It's a great thing. Like, if your business is doing that, it's a good investment.
It's an efficient way to make more money because you're not acquiring new customers.
You don't have to go and spend the new advertising to go and get that the new customer. Yeah. So here's what Square does worse. Okay. Earnings of Square was 573 million for the Q2. Yeah. Right. Which earnings of Shopify was 2.4 billion, but Square made 15.9 billion in revenue. So they made way more revenue. They made a 3.6% profit margin. Square in Q2. Wow. So, but also, in Square's defense, they're growing pretty rapidly as well. Yeah. So they've also potentially a lot of that money's going towards growing their revenue base. Yeah. At the same time, is it just crypto gains? Who knows? Is it crypto losses? Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah.
Interesting. Is that the end?
That's my Shopify segment. I'm bullish on it.
Are you? Okay.
All right. I don't know. How do you feel now? You feeling okay?
How do I feel? Yeah. I think it's a good company. I just honestly feel like the big thing that sticks in my mind is like anyone who ever was going to start a Shopify store will have started it in the last 2 years. And I think they have to see slowing growth in the next couple of years. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's because it's pulled forward their growth.
There's also something in terms of cohorts. They have a cohort spend by cohort, which means they've got 2017, the people that signed up in 2017, the people that signed up in 2018, the people that signed up in 2019. Yeah. So their revenue per cohort in 2018, so their 2018 cohort or whatever, and before, has grown by like more than 100% like this year. Cohort. And then they've added this one, and this one. So their bar graph actually looks great. So we'll add that in there. Yeah. But their bar graph looks like crazy in terms of cohorts. So.
Yeah, right. Okay. And I think so. And it's like the concern that I have
grows every year.
Yeah. The concern that I have is that for you as a current investor who, let's say you invested 2 years ago, you don't necessarily care that it's pulled forward their interest in the business by 2 years, for example, because you were going to get that anyway. But for someone who doesn't own it for me to buy it now, knowing that potentially the valuation is because of all of that interest that's been pulled forward, and now it's going to sort of slump in the next couple of years. I'm not saying it is, but in my mind, unless they do something drastic, it just doesn't make sense to buy. So I guess, but then it does also come back down to what you're saying is if they can acquire or produce a product that also tailors towards the consumer side, that's a whole new market that they haven't even touched. So there's much more growth there as well.
And you've also got to consider those people that say, in 2017 or 2016 or whatever, they say, what's the best financial advice you could give someone?
Yeah.
They literally say, we've already had a massive run of FANG companies.
Yeah.
Buy FANG companies, buy 5 companies.
Yeah.
Put all your money in those 5, 20% each, you know?
Yeah.
And every time that someone's said, oh, well, they've already reached their maximum. They've already reached $1 trillion. They've already reached $2 trillion.
They still continue.
You know? They're still potentially the best possible
and you're
bet you could make. And they're still going to outperform a massive amount. Yes. So, you know, there's some level of that as well. There's some level of, well, it's at its all-time high, you know.
No, I agree. And I think if you were to invest in it, I'm not necessarily, I don't think you would necessarily lose money, although you might. Everything has a risk. But I think in my mind, it's just something that's been pulled forward so far that in the next 2 years, there might be other avenues of which I could invest, which might reap greater returns.
It's a genuinely better,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's definitely a buy if you want it. Like, I don't know. It's a good business. I didn't buy it for no reason.